Greetings and salutations, everyone. I hope everyone is still doing well, and welcome to tonight's second half. Before we jump into it, a couple links. As many of you know, I rely on Patreon, PayPal, channel membership, and the merch to help the channel to continue to grow and go. Links to Patreon, PayPal, and channel membership is in the description below. Merch displayed directly under the video. Also, Dogman Frightening Encounters, Volume 1 through 3, the audiobook versions. They were written and researched by Tom Lyons, narrated and produced by me, Jeff Nadolny. Those audiobooks are available on Audible, Amazon, and iTunes, links to which are also in the description as well. And finally, last but definitely not least, if you'd really like to help support the channel to continue to grow and go, simply subscribe. It does not cost a cent. Click the like button, takes half a second. If you don't want to miss out on any of the informative uploads that I put out daily, click that bell icon, and folks, please leave a comment. Why? Well, because all of these things really do help this channel to continue to grow and go. And folks, they definitely do matter. Now, everyone, I have taken far too much of your time. Let's jump into tonight's second half, shall we? Through the years of having this channel, I have met a lot of very interesting and good people. And during that time, when someone usually shares an experience with me, I try to validate certain claims in that area. Like if someone states that something happened, I'll look into it and find the evidence. 5 years ago, right before Victor came onto my channel, met a gentleman named Luke, and he was from Taylor, Mississippi. He had shared his family's experiences with me, 5 generations, starting all the way back to his great-grandfather. His great-grandfather saved his grandfather's life, getting chased through the woods by a dogman, or what his family called them, walking wolves. Then his grandfather saved and protected his grandmother, his wife, and his child, Luke's dad. Then Luke's children had to deal with these creatures until they finally moved out of Taylor, Mississippi. Luke told me about his grandfather's horrific experience in Taylor and how he was savagely attacked, and I did look into it, and I did find it. Just an absolute terrifying and sad experience. I became great friends with Luke during all of this. And then when he was forced out of Taylor, he moved to Maryland and became or pursued a job that he has always wanted.
All right, so you remember my friend a little while back that lives in Oxford, Mississippi.
Yeah.
Has issues around his property with these walking wolves, and I went over there to help him with security cameras, and then a mysterious team comes up, and the whole everything that went on there. So pretty much a couple months ago, I had received a phone call from his wife saying that he went missing. And she didn't know what to do, and she called the cops. She called the local authorities. So what I did was I had took some time off of work. I talked it over with my wife, told her that I was going to go up, back up to Mississippi to see if I could help out find him, because he went, because he usually goes to Lamarck Park.
Okay.
Not too far from his house. He likes to just hike and do whatever.
Is that in Taylor?
So he takes I think it's in Oxford, Mississippi. It's not far from Taylor at all.
Right.
They're literally next to each other.
Yep.
It's like just the next town. So they cross each other.
Okay.
So he usually keeps a 9mm with him and takes I think a 40-ounce water. He goes for at least a couple of hours. He tells his wife where he goes, and he always told his wife he never, because he's very punctual. So if he doesn't come back by this time, that she needs to contact the local authorities, which he did. So they said that he had to be missing for X amount of time before they could actually put a missing person out for him. So she reached out to me and told me what the situation was. So I spoke to my wife, told her that I have a few days that I'm gonna go up to Mississippi and see if I can help find him, because me and him used to go on the same route. Like we'll go hiking and just go miles. And then there's the one little thing we used to do. Like we used to around the trees, we used to mark it with a knife, with letter C and then U, which stands for catch up. Like if each one of us like falls behind, so we look for certain markings, chest level from a tree, and that's how we pretty much were able to track each other. So I pretty much told my wife about what my plans was, and she was totally against it. And like we had an argument, and then she told me like the night of her the morning of her encounter, that when they ditched her, they kept circling the car, and one actually came across the car, the window, and pressed his face against it, which caused her to like freaking pretty much like soil herself.
Right.
So that part she had left out. And then she said that it had an intent of like, I can get you when I want you, but we're just gonna wait. So that's when I came through, and then everything happened, and I was able to get her to safety. But when I came back to the car, it took my kids' clothes, piss, urine, all that stuff in the car. So I ended up having to convince her, because he's been my friend for a long time, like maybe give or take maybe 5 or 10 years after, about 5 years, 5 or 10 years after me losing my friend.
Okay.
Because there was a convention over in my town, and he came over, and we about this werewolf type convention, and we was just interested in it, and we just like chopped it up and started talking and became friends for been friends for about 15 years almost now. So go hiking and just a whole bunch of stuff. So I was able to convince my wife to that I'll go up there, that I was only going to be gone for a few days, and I was going to stay at my friend's wife's house. So when I got in my car, I filled up the tank. I took a couple of my guns with me. I took my Kel-Tec KSG. I took my Rock Auto 10 mil, and I took my BCM Reese AR, just in case that I don't know what to expect over there, because it's been a long time since I've really been back over there.
Right.
So it was from Maryland to about Mississippi is about like 14 hours and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's a haul.
I made the drive in 10.
Nice.
So I go to the house. I meet up with her. She's hysterical. And now it's been almost a day. Actually, it's been a day since he's been missing, a day and a half.
So he just went out one day. He went and said, "Hey," to his wife, "I'm going to go for a hike." That's all it was. Was he was just going on a hike?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's going. He goes on a hike about once to twice a week.
Okay.
Just to get the blood flowing and stuff like that. So
right. Just to get
it was nothing unusual for him to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's gone for a couple of hours. So I went there, I talked to her and stuff like that. And she said that he was going on a usual hike. He took all his necessary things that he takes on a hike. And I asked what park did he go to? Does he go to the usual park? And she said that he does. So I asked her about what did the law enforcement do? They said that they went out there looking in the areas that she told them to look. They had the canines. They said that they caught a hit. And then once they got to an area where the park got dense, and the dogs just stopped in their tracks, they didn't want to go any further. Mm. So they wasn't able to complete the whatchamacallit. And so they had to come back and bring new dogs, and it was the same thing with the new dogs. They didn't want to go in that particular area. Mm. So she asked what area it was, but they wouldn't tell her. So then Um, I set up and rest for like at least a few hours, couple of hours, and then I headed out to the park like that because for the most part, me and him used to go on the same trails. So I followed the trails until I got to a certain area, and then I was actually able to see like certain markings and stuff like that he marked. So I followed it, and then I reached the area where I think the forest did get dense. I entered the area. So what I do is now, like I have these, I got like about 10 pounds of like poppers. I had a strap to my back, and as I'm walking, it drops like about 5, 10 of those when I'm in a certain area. What I use that for is when then something steps on it, it makes a loud pop noise.
Yep.
So I can know like if anything is trying to sneak up on me. So I go into the area where I believe the dogs want to enter, and it's a little bit dense and things like that. So right now, I think it was about like maybe give or take 4 o'clock. Sun is still out, but it's getting ready to set. So I'm going in there. I'm following trails. I see pieces of ripped clothes, running like the terrain is like was running, and then something was chasing, and so it looked like he was being chased by something big. And I'm looking. So I'm like about give or take a quarter of a mile in, and then maybe about 50 to 100 yards, I hear poppers go off. So I turn around, but there's nothing there. So I keep going. I'm going. So I stumble up this embankment that steeps down. So I go down. I slide down it. I follow. It goes like around the bend, and so I follow that bend. I'm hearing more poppers. So now it's starting to get darker. So I'm thinking about. So now I'm faced with a dilemma: do I turn around or do I continue?
Right.
Because honestly, I wasn't going. I went there not to retrieve somebody alive. I went there to retrieve a body. I'm gonna be honest with you. So I was like, I'm gonna go like maybe a few hundred more yards, and then that's when I saw glowing eyes on my left hand side, about maybe give or take about 50 to 100 feet away in this brush. So I'm trying to make out what it is. So I'm measuring the height because I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt. Maybe it's animal, maybe it's coyote, maybe it's whatever, It's not what I think it is. The height was taller than any known animal in the area, so I took out my 10 mil and I chambered around and I held it in my hand as I continued to walk. I had what I was looking at in my peripheral. So as I got about another maybe 50 feet, there was a slope that went deep down. So I'm got my flashlight out because right now it's not dark though, but it's getting dark. And I look down and I see like a leg, and then it's covered and stuff like that. So when I went down there, I saw a body. I'm thinking that it was my friend's. So I thought he was dead at the time, but he wasn't. So I was able to get him up and like exhausted. He sprained his ankle or injured his leg. His leg was swollen. His ankle was swollen. And the way how the embankment was, it was steep. So he couldn't climb out.
Right.
So I was able to, I gave him a boost, and because it was about maybe give or take, when at the bottom of the embankment to the top is about maybe 8 feet. So 8 feet or so. So I was able to give him a boost and push him out. And then that's when I heard a growl howl type thing. And he's like, oh no. And so I hear him say, oh no, it's coming back. It came back.
Oh shit.
long story short, we had at least about half a mile to freaking like get out the dense wood part, because that's how far in I had.
Right.
And by that time, it's already dark. So I had a lantern, I had a torch. Right now, I took out my big gun. I'm like, yo, it came. I started hearing like it circling in us. It was more than one of them circling us. So what I would do is like technically, all hunters know you need to know the target that you're shooting at before you fire a shot.
Absolutely.
But I'm like, no human is going to be in this. You know, I made the deduction no human will be this far in at this time of night, knowing that you have armed people. So I just took the chance. I fired a couple of shots, not to hit the animal, because when you hit the animal, there's one of two things is going to happen: they run away or they attack. And right now, I was in a position to defend myself with my friend here if they attack. So I shot it like over their head just to get the attention. So they ran off. 5 minutes, they come back. So now he's limping. I have him trying to carry him out of there. Excuse me.
Yeah.
So he falls. I have to drag him because he's literally out of energy. I'll tell you what he told me afterward.
Yeah.
But I'm out of energy. So he's out of energy. So I'm dragging him. I have to, since the fact that I'm dragging him, I have to put my AR back because I can't have my AR while I'm dragging him. So I have my the way I have my gun position, I have a holster, a front holster, a quick draw front holster. So
okay, right on your chest.
I'm dragging him. Yeah. So I'm dragging him. I'm getting tired myself. So I'm taking a minute or two. Then I hear them come back, so I have to quickly fire another shot in the area, in the direction, have them go off. So, this been going on for like about 20 minutes to half an hour. I finally get out of there and get out to the open field, because majority 9 acres of it is like open field, but there's a certain area that's just fucking dense as hell. So I get him out and stuff like that. So I'm like, all right, good. So I get him out. The car's not too far from there. It's like another 10, 15 minutes. So as I get him out, so I see 3 of them standing at the edge of the wood line. I see an all black one, a brown one, and a light gray one. The all black one was the biggest one, about 7 or 8 feet, red eyes, pissed off as hell.
Mm.
And so I didn't think of anything until I was able to get him out, because my adrenaline was going. So right now I was in a fight or flight mode. So I was pretty much flight, trying to get him to safety. So we was able to get him to the car, put him in the back seat. He took off. I had got him back to the hospital. So he was dehydrated. He had a broken ankle, and pretty much he had to be put to sleep for a while because the stress and the exhaustion was too much, I guess, for his body to handle. So I had called his wife, told him that he was safe. So I do that. Police, everybody shows up at the hospital to question me. What were you doing there? You're not a resident here. You blah, 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 blah. We can arrest you. So I'm trying to tell them what was going on and stuff like that. Like, I used to live up there. I lived up there pretty much all my life. I just moved down to Maryland just a couple years ago. And then I'm actually law enforcement. But they didn't want to hear that. So, and then, what did you see? You got any pictures?
They asked you if you had pictures?
Yeah.
Wow.
Asked me if I had pictures. Because,
was this just regular law enforcement?
No.
No, okay.
Not at all. I already knew who they were when I saw them.
Right.
So, and then the thing about it, I don't know if you know, most times when you bring somebody in and you stay with the person, you got to sign your name in.
Mm-hmm.
So I signed my name in. So I'm guessing when they saw who I brought in and they saw my name, they ran my name through their system.
Right.
I think they knew who I was.
Was it the same? You think it was the same people that bought your property from back in the day?
Yes, it was the same. It was the same agency, but different people.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yep.
So,
how long? Sorry, really quick. How long was it from you bringing your buddy into the hospital to them showing up?
30 minutes.
No kidding. That's quick. Wow.
30 minutes.
How far is that hospital from where your old house was?
Give or take about 20 minutes.
Okay. Because they bought that property and then they tore everything down, right? Do you think they have something set up in that in that den still?
Honestly, they probably do, because I'm pretty sure till today, they traverse that area because it's the quickest way for them to get to the other side.
Right.
So it's just like happened to be that property was just smack that in the middle. So they didn't have no choice. They could go around, go the long way, just cut through here and just destroy whatever the hell's in their path.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I was just curious of how, like, that's quick for them to get to wherever to, you know what I mean, to you. So there has to have been some agents down there permanently.
You also have to think about it. It's a hot spot, so they're constantly monitoring the area, especially when they have a known area where they traverse on a seasonal basis. You know.
Right.
So.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just curious on that. So your buddy, they're asking you for pictures, this and that, and at that point you're just like, I got no pictures.
Yeah, so they asked for my phone. I was like, yo, you're not getting my phone. I'm like, you need a warrant for my phone. So they was like, all right, you need to step out. So they had me step out. So they started questioning my friend. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? He can't even talk.
Right.
So they had the doctors had to like force them to leave and stuff like that. Or they'll be like, I forget how they word it though. There's certain things that they can't, government official or law enforcement can't interrogate a person that's in a hospital that's incoherent, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because all that does is so they told them to come back in like a few hours or the next day or whatever. So
that's crazy. That's crazy that they wanted to like interrogate him because he's the victim. You know what I mean? There was no like law broken.
Yeah, they don't care.
Yeah.
They do not care. See, what I learned from the positions I'm in, whoever knows what is the enemy. I'm just being honest with you.
Yeah.
You could be a law-abiding citizen to the T. You stumble on some information that they don't want you to know, and then you're enemy of the state. They'll find a way they'll ruin your reputation, whatever.
Right.
To just scare you into not releasing certain information. And they had the power to do that. So, but yeah, he was in the hospital for a couple of days, so they let him out. And then when they did release him, I went to go get him. I took him back to his house, and I asked him what happened. So he pretty much told me that he would usually go on his routine of his hike. So it was just like any other day. He went on his hike, going down the trail and stuff. And then it seemed like he had a feeling that he was being followed. So he would pick up the pace, and then he'll hear something moving behind him. And then when he finally did see what's moving behind him, it bluff charged him. So he was running, and then any chance he had to stop, he would mark the trees to see whoever followed him. So what it did was, it was a couple of them. They was herding him to a certain area so they can kill him. So pretty much what happened was they was herding him. And it so happened he fell into this little ditch type thing that he couldn't get out of.
Right.
but he was well positioned. So every time one would come at him, he'll fire his weapon, which kept him at bay for a while. And literally, when I came, he was already down to his last 3 bullets. So once he ran out, and he knew he ran out, he'd have been gone. So if I was there, if I got there a day later, or even a few hours later, I don't think he would be here.
Yeah, it would have been a recovery.
Yeah. So.
Wow.
They had him. He was up. When I say he was up for hours, he didn't sleep. He didn't sleep. He was his body. He was up for literally 24 hours, trying to keep these things at bay.
Yeah.
To the point that his body just gave out on him. Literally, just gave out. He just passed out of exhaustion. Last time, I guess when he fired. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You had said if you hadn't shown up, it would have been over, for him after the last couple of rounds that he had. But another thing is that it would have been over if he didn't have a firearm with him. That right there shows that, if you're going out in the woods, you definitely should have. And when I say protection, I don't mean a pocket knife or a stick. I mean a firearm, It's not bear spray. You're spraying lead. Well, not lead anymore, but you know what I mean. It's just that's crazy. Do you think that was the spot where he fell? Was that the kill zone? You think? Because it sounds like it would be.
I think so. Honestly, think so. Because you can't get out of that.
Right. I mean, you had to help him.
You can't get out of that. The only way I was able to get out there, because I have a big hunting knife.
Uh-huh.
So I had to run, jump, stab into the ground, and pull myself up to the point that I can grab the top of it. Because if I didn't have my hunting knife, me being in shape, because I've been actually in the gym taking Krav Maga, and I've been getting myself in a pretty good shape. Me being in shape, 6'2", 220 pounds, I wouldn't be able to get out of there.
Right.
And 100%. So, I didn't really stick around to see if I saw any carcasses or anything. I was just zeroed in on my friend. So. Right.
No, it just seems like the perfect location.
Yeah. So the story don't end there. So when we're talking, he tells me that and stuff like that. So I'm like, yo, what did you do for that to happen to you? Because I'm like, yo, I'm pretty sure they know who you are, because if you traverse there, they watch you. So he told me, a few weeks ago that something was around his property. So he went outside around the back, and he fired shots at it. So I'm thinking that it got pissed and started following him and was waiting for the opportunity to get him, which it found the perfect opportunity. So
right.
So, and then as we talking, I'm in their kitchen getting water. They're in the living room watching TV. I happen to look in the window, and I see red eyes looking right back at me. So, and it was all black. Literally no bull. Shame to say this, I pissed my pants.
Yeah.
I pissed my pants.
I think it's a natural reaction anyway. You know what I mean?
I was in a state of shock, not because I saw one of them walking wolves. It's the one that I saw that fucking shook me to my core.
The one from 2-3 years ago.
And I think it was the same one, the all black one. Looked just the same. Just it smiled at me it gave me that smile oh, I remember you.
Mm.
Smile. So maybe 5 minutes later, when I was able, because once it did that, it walked away. It wanted to make a point, and it made its point.
Right.
And once it walked away, I told them they have to leave. They have to leave. They have to move, because they're not going to leave. I told them that their lives are literally in danger. They have to move. So they're actually in the process of moving very, very far away. Not sure where they're going to move to. They got a couple of areas, Pennsylvania, Maryland or New York.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? But they're in the process of moving right now. So once I came back and took the drive back and stuff like that, you better give us the information we need. Your family's gonna be hurt. Just a whole bunch of stuff. So I said to myself, like, I'm gonna get myself unlisted and change my number again. So I changed my number.
Right.
So right now I'm rocking out with a new number.
When they called you, did they sound like professional, or did they? I mean,
I already knew when I get calls like that, because I've told you I've got calls like that in the past. So I already know who it is,
right,
and what they're trying to do. But it doesn't work on me anymore.
Right.
Only thing I do, I just change my number and just keep it moving. I'm like, if you want to battle with me, I'm like, you could bring it though, but I'm guarantee you're not gonna be walking away unscathed.
Yeah, yeah. What about work? They don't. Nothing with that.
What do you mean by work?
Like, okay, so you work. Yeah, I mean, you work as a ranger. I actually
had. I'm sorry.
You work for the park system there in Maryland, so they don't bother you that way, or?
No, they don't bother me that way.
Okay.
But I did have I was looking into. Mind you, I have a lot of missing persons cases up in my area, stuff like that. So I decided to look into one case because I know the area where the person went missing. So I decided to go there and things like that, and I realized that there's a lot of crawler activities over there.
Really?
I happened to see another crawler when I was there. So my thing is, the area where she went missing, if one of those things got a hold of the this one was a missing teen. It's I don't know, but it didn't look good though.
Yeah.
Because I've dealt with Bigfoot. I've dealt with walking wolves, but crawlers or whatever these things are something new to me. So yeah. I don't know how to proceed. It's something that I have to learn or brush up on.
Mm-hmm.
These things are creepy, man.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think that, I was just thinking about when you were saying, that you went down there, and for some reason, the thing about law enforcement, how they had the code names for like Dogman, Bigfoot, black cow, black dog, this and that. And I'm like, I wonder what the code word for them things are. It's just, I mean, it's something that you're not used to dealing with is or, I mean, they are, and they really just kind of are very hush hush about it. I was actually thinking about you the other week. I was looking at a couple of pictures of the Maryland Goatman, and I was like, I thought about your experience.
Oh my god, that's one scary looking thing, man.
Yeah, yeah. I'm glad that your friend's all right, man. I mean, that's insane. But right there is that's just validation that you really, when you go on a hike, you really need to have protection. And you didn't hit them with your rounds. You were shooting over and using it as a scare tactic. I think that just having that noise and them knowing, hey, that really could do some damage to us. It could save people. Yeah, you could save someone's life. I mean, even if you don't, kill one, it just get it away from you.
Yeah, I'm in a position. I don't want to hurt these things. I don't want to shoot them. I don't want the drama. I don't want the beef.
Right.
And that's my very, very, very last resort. So if I see them, if somebody's about to lose their life, then of course I'm definitely gonna unleash hell on them. But
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
just, at the end of the day, you leave me alone, I'm gonna leave you alone. But once you cross into my territory, and then you're messing with people, innocent people, then I'm sorry. Depending on how dangerous the situation is, just depending on which one of us is gonna walk out of here alive, you know.
Right. Right.
So,
Um,
but like I'm not trying to go that route because I'm not.
you've already
I'm not
done that
Luke.
route, and you figured out what happens. Luke doesn't win.
One of those things. Luke got his behind whooped.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Got tossed around like a rag doll. The amount of power that these things have on like freaking one finger is like phenomenal.
yeah. When you were walking your buddy out and you hit that field, there was the gray, the brown, and the black one. Do you think that was because that instantly popped into my head. And then when you had mentioned that the black one.
It was the same one.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I was.
It was the same one. And I didn't put that back. I didn't put that together until after that incident at the house.
Yeah.
Because we was a distance away. I knew I didn't. It's not like I was like maybe 10, 15 feet. We was like at least about hundreds of feet away.
Okay.
I saw it from a good distance, but I saw the girl on the red eyes. I'm like, oh, this is not good.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So,
now, when they called you,
they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No. I didn't mean to cut you off. When they know what they're doing, what the Dogman?
They know what they're doing. Yes, because they want to tag you out in the open. They need cover.
Yeah.
Because they know that they're vulnerable. So
ambush predators.
I already knew that. That's why I knew I had to make it out of there. Once I knew I made it out of there, for the most part, I'm safe. But if I shot one of them and he pissed off, they're gonna follow me till they get me.
Yeah.
But due to the fact that I didn't hit one of them, I knew there was a good chance that I was gonna make it out alive.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
you saw that video that I posted today. Yeah, today. But people will hear this tomorrow. What was your take on it? Well, I know what your take was on it already, but you had the same feeling I had. Definitely a walking wolf.
Yeah. I looked at the video. I looked at the prints.
Uh-huh.
Even though the prints wasn't exact, it wasn't human. It wasn't a Sasquatch. It looked canine, but it looked like it was the way that the movements was like it was walking on two legs, like it was bipedal.
Yeah.
So even though it was canine in origin, that only made me believe. It pretty much confirmed what I thought it was when it led him to the tree, and then there was no other prints around that tree.
Mm-hmm.
It went up in the trees, and I'm pretty sure if you looked in that trees a little longer, you probably would have saw what was in that tree. But then again, once you see something, you can't unsee it. So it was a good thing that he wasn't able to see what's in that tree.
Yeah.
And then once he went past to the part, and then you saw those eyes, and the way that the head was positioned, like when I zoomed in on it, you could slightly see there was like a muzzle.
Yeah.
So, and then the height of it was high. If you really look at it and look at everything around it, even though it's nighttime and it's dark here, it's taller than any known animal in that area. Just by especially if you're outdoorsman, you can tell just by looking at certain things. You can guesstimate a height, like, oh, this is too tall to be anything normal. And he saw that. He's like, yo, he's not gonna say that on camera, but he just knew it wasn't normal.
Right.
That's why he's like, and another thing is, if something normal, a lot of normal things are afraid of humans. They don't want problems with humans.
Yeah,
that thing
bear
would have turned
run.
around and walked away.
Yeah, a bear will run away.
That thing stared him down to the point that he realized he almost got in the trance because he kept looking at it.
Yep.
Oh. And then what broke his concentration, because he heard a branch break, a twig snap, or whatever, because something was coming on his rear. So these things are ambush predator. what they'll do is if they want you, one of them will show themselves to you.
Yeah.
While the other one sneaks up on them. By the time it gets up on you, it's too late.
Yeah.
Like, my thing is, if you see one, know there's more than one around, especially if you're just standing there looking at you.
Yeah, yeah. There's not going to be
around.
Yeah,
Watch.
If that one was just by itself, it wouldn't just stand there. That was perfect. Look at my eyes, look at me, keep looking at me while my buddy comes up behind you. And when he was running, you heard him, like he's took out the Lord's name, and I think that he actually had saw another one, but didn't catch it on camera because he was running, and it was...
Yeah, but you think about it, I don't know if you caught it. When he was running, there was other noises behind him when he was running. And it wasn't his son, because his son was off to the side of him.
Right. It was
paralleling
like
him. Noise from in a distance. Yes, it sounded like something in the distance.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was very, very faint, but I caught that.
Yeah, it was.
Because you got to remember, these things, they live in the woods, so they, for the most part, they're like 300 to 600 pounds. But they got special kind of paddings that absorb noise. So it's very rare that you're going to hear them make noise. But when you do hear noise, you're going to catch it.
Mm-hmm.
You got to think about how they sneak up on you when you don't even know it. It's because their paddings, it's like ultra absorbent.
Yeah. What did you think about that growl?
Move through the woods.
Yeah. What did you think about the growl? Because, what I
think,
heard...
honestly, the growl was a warning to get...
Yeah.
The growl was a warning to get out the area.
Yeah.
It was like, leave me alone, get out of here, or I will kill you.
Yeah. Yeah, because a lot of people loved the video. They saw it. They were like, wow, this is amazing, And then there was a few people that were like, oh, that's fake. Now, when I heard...
think about it.
What I heard that night... when I had my encounter, the noises that they were making, it didn't make any sense. It doesn't sound normal. These things do not sound normal. They're not what we are used to hearing as human beings, They sound different than what we'd expect something like that to sound. And that's why I think that growl and that noise was off. It was very strange. And like I said to you, people were like, it seems fake to me. The guy, he has a TikTok account, and it's based on ice fishing, hunting. He spear fishes and makes videos that way. That's his shtick. It's not cryptids. He doesn't care about cryptids, And like you said, you caught it. You said he never once said what he thought it was because he didn't know what it was.
Exactly. Like, I think I got a Dogman here or a Bigfoot. No, it's like, I don't know what the heck this thing is.
Right. I've never seen tracks like this.
I just know it's something that doesn't frequent here.
Yeah.
So
that was a very cool
a lot of
video.
people take it. A lot of these walking wolves have dog-like characteristics, and knowing that is what will save your life. I'm about 80% sure when they growl at you, that's a warning to get away from me, get far away from me. Mm-hmm. They're not ready to attack you, but the longer you stay there, is the higher the chances they will attack you. When they growl at you, they're giving you a warning. Like, I'm going to let you live if you can get out of here fast enough.
Yeah.
Because the ones that want to attack you don't growl at you.
They just go to town.
Because growling at you is going to give away the position. And for the most part, they ambush predators. Mm-hmm. The only time they'll attack you head on, and they're really pissed about something.
Right.
They're really pissed about something. But 9 times out of 10, they'll growl at you and get out my area. And then when you don't get out the area, they'll bluff charge you. And when you don't heed to that bluff charge, then they kill you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They give you warnings.
That's what I think.
And you do have the rogues on it that do just attack people just for the fun of it.
Right. Yeah, no, I agree.
But most of them try to get you out the area.
Yeah. That's what I think was happening a couple of times when he was running, and he kind of be like, oh, what, he made that, like, I mean, he was obviously, when he saw the eyes, realized, hey, it's time to get out of here, to his kid. And then...
You want to know why? He saw the eyes. He saw the eyes, and he did a height analysis.
Yeah.
He did a quick height analysis. Any hunter can do a height analysis. Like, yo, this is not normal height for an animal.
Right.
Something is wrong here. Let me get the hell out of here.
That's why I think he told his kid not to take the shot. Because he was like, don't take that shot.
Exactly.
You know, he knew it was not a person.
We don't know what it is.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
he knew it was not a person. Odds are not a person.
He's like,
a person would not do that.
Yeah. He's like, that's way too tall to be a person. Don't take the shot because it's not coming at us. You know, if it starts coming at us, take the shot. But why risk taking the shot and making it upset and having it come after him? You know, that was definitely.
You also got to be careful with the bluff shots too. The bluff charge.
Yeah, I think
a certain distance you have to wait before you take a shot. Because if they bluff charge and you take a shot and you hit them, yo, that bluff charge turns into a real charge.
Right.
That's another thing that people fail to realize.
Yeah, it doesn't stop at that point.
I think once they cross that 20, 25 feet mark, that's when you take a shot.
Yeah.
But if you take a shot past that point, you're 9 pounds out of 10. That's a bluff charge, and you just turned it into a real charge, and now you're literally running for your life.
Yeah. And then he finds the deer.
Another thing is, you got to think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's use common logic here, yo. Them things are out apex predator. They run up to like 50 to 60 miles per hour. You think a normal human can outrun any one of these creatures?
No.
At any point in time, if they really wanted to get them, they would have got them. Oh, I ran. I hear stories where I ran for my life, yo. I ran. I'm like, it was just toying with you. It wanted you to leave. It didn't want to kill you because it could have killed you any time. These things jump a good 40 to 50 feet in one bounce.
Yeah. Yeah.
They could be up on you in a matter of seconds.
Yep.
You could have a 100-yard head start, and they can close the distance within 10 seconds. That's how fast these things are.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, just know if you survive, it's because they didn't want to kill you.
And I think you're right. You said it. They don't really want to kill the majority of the time. I think that they want people in the woods when you have a circumstance like that video. They just want you out of their area, you know. They were going to the easiest source of food, this guy's chicken coop, and they would grab his chicken. They would the door is an easy door to open. There's like it's just a wooden door with a latch.
You and I are both mad. It doesn't matter what kind of door it is. If they want in, they're gonna rip that door off the hinges.
Right.
Even if it's a metal door, they'll rip it off the hinges.
Yeah.
These things are incredibly strong. And their claws cut through steel.
Yeah.
Sharp enough to cut through steel. I've seen that. And that shit boggles my mind.
All right. And then he finds the deer.
They're mad.
No head, but the head's there. Decapitated. Body is, you know.
No animal can do that.
No. I had a subscriber.
No animal.
What were you going to say?
No, go ahead.
I had a subscriber just recently, and I haven't shared the picture because of YouTube's policies and stuff. And
guidelines.
Yeah. There was and I thought immediately about that. That's the crazy thing about that video is because there are so many things that point to that being a dog man that really just this guy from down in Tennessee sent me a photo of a mule, and the body was 20, 30 feet away from the head. And whatever.
You know them things are tough.
I'll text you the picture so you can see it.
All right.
Whatever yoked. It could be a squatch, you know what I mean? Or it could be a dogman. One of the two. Because it looks like it pulled the head, but I'm thinking more of a dogman because of the tear marks. But squatches can do that too.
Yeah.
But there's spinal cord attached to the neck. You know what I mean? So there's a good 2 or 3 feet of spinal cord attached. So it's almost like it went whoa and pulled it right out. But I'm like, dude, nothing.
You know the amount of force it takes for you to decapitate something?
Yeah. Yeah. Especially a mule. I mean,
yes.
Or a deer. And just a deer alone, the speed that they can run, something very fast would have to, you know, So that points to
Gotcha.
Dogman. You know, there's just a lot of things that line up to that being a Dogman. But yeah, I'm glad that you saw it. I'm glad that you saw that video. It was definitely a cool video, and you know, that those.
I feel for him because he's gonna have a run-in with that thing. That thing hasn't stopped. It's gonna continue to raid his chicken coop.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be one day he's gonna be out there and he's gonna actually, he might not see it close up, but he's gonna see it and know what it is, or not know what it is, but he'll see it and realize that things in this world ain't what it seems.
Right. And it only makes sense that it'd be a Dogman because it's in Michigan, and he said federal land, and I'm like, federal land. He's got to be up on the Upper Peninsula, and I'm like, yeah, definitely a Dogman. You know, it's just, wow, blows me away. But I'll text you that picture. I got to figure out a way of sharing that photo with people, because, I mean, that photo alone just shows that, you know, whatever did that to that mule, humans can't do it. I mean,
might be able to change the format on it.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe do it in the community section or something, just on a post or whatever. But, you know, even a human couldn't do it. You know, like, it's just, even if it was dead, how are you gonna? How it makes no. When you see the photo, you'll know what I mean, because you're gonna be like, yeah, there's nothing, no doubts about that. That was caused by something much more powerful than a human being, or any other kind of animal that's native to the woods that's in Tennessee.
Yeah.
So, but my last thing was, I had the question to ask you about the phone calls that you were receiving. So were they like, I know they're bullying, obviously they're bullying you, but I mean, can you...
They're attempting to bully me.
Right. Can you give me, like, I mean, did they sound like, hey, you know, we're going to come for your family, this, and that? Or, you know, how did it sound? Was it just, I mean...
That's when they called me to ask. They asked to talk to me. I was like, speaking. It was like, you was up in such and such, and we know that you have certain evidence, and if you release these evidence to the public, I can make you and your family disappear.
Mm-hmm.
And then I hang up, and then they call again, somebody else. I was like, you need to turn in whatever you have, or it won't look good for you and your family. Hang up. Another one calls. We're outside your house. We're watching you right now. I hang up. I look outside. Supposedly nobody's there. So.
Right.
And then I ended up just changing my number and getting myself enlisted. So.
Scare tactics completely, but like you said, I couldn't see anybody, but, you know, someone's probably there.
Yeah.
So
I'm like, they'll do anything, say anything, but they got the wrong one.
Yeah, definitely. They really should. They should know, if they know you're, you know what I mean? They've obviously know who you are by looking into your background. They should know, you know, the amount of crap that you and your family have been through in Taylor, you know. So it's
Yeah, it's like, because I had to drive past to get to a certain area, so it felt kind of weird going back there.
I'm sure it did. Just
funny, the messed up thing is, I go back there to see the same thing that scared me away.
Right. Did you know when you were heading down? You had to have known. You know, like, you just in your heart of hearts, you're like, you know, I'm going down here. This is.
I already know I was going to see one of them. I know it. Yeah. I know I was going to see one of them. Because, yeah, these one thing I learned, Joe, that these things you're sent. They're sent. Let me see if I can explain this in a way a lot of people can understand. But what I've learned, what these creatures is, they don't forget a scent. They can hold on to a scent for decades. That's how good they are with scents. Another thing is, your scent. It's like putting a whole bunch of different fragrances in the air, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they can pull a fragrance out the air no matter where it is, because scents travel a certain distance. And the way how they communicate, one could pull the scent, like, oh, okay, because they communicate with each other. Like, oh, this is in the area. That's how they know where to go and who to mess with. Like, when you see a group of them, they know who they're going for because they communicate and they let them know in their way who is the target.
Right.
And I think once I stepped foot in there, like, they knew I was there. They have a sixth sense for this stuff. Because you can't put normal logic on creatures that exceed normal boundaries. Right? So things that you think a normal animal can do, don't classify these things as normal or what a normal animal can do. Because they're capable of a lot more things. We've seen all the stuff. Let me take that back. We've seen most of the stuff that these things are capable of. And they're like, how the hell do they do that? But you can't put human logic on this thing. Because they're not, they don't go by human boundaries.
No.
They go by they're in a whole nother class of their own. So the minute people start to realize that is the minute that they can accept it and move accordingly.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I knew once I stepped in there that I was a marked man. I knew I was a marked man.
I'm glad that your friend was. I'm glad your friend was okay, though. You know, I mean, and that's just sheer luck. Sheer luck of having a firearm.
I went there for recovery.
Right. Sure.
I told, like, when don't get me wrong. Like, when we hang out, we chill, and we do talk about these cryptids. I tell them, like, I tell them soft tissue spots, like, God forbid, if you have to shoot one of these things, where to shoot them at. And to freaking increase your chance of getting away. Because you don't shoot them in the abs, you don't shoot them in the stomach, you shoot them in the neck, if their mouth is open, you shoot them in the mouth, you shoot them in between their ligaments to slow them down.
Right.
And you got to hit them in the soft tissue spots. A lot of people go for center mass, chest. I'm like, your chest is damn near bulletproof, man.
Yeah.
Because what it does, their muscle fibers are so freaking thick. Because I've shot one in the chest, and I've seen a bullet just stop halfway in there, man. Shit didn't even freaking penetrate. So center mass, unless you got a super high caliber weapon,
right?
And then you can do that. But if not, you got to go for soft tissues like necks and open mouth, not their teeth, because their teeth are damn near bulletproof too. Freaking only thing you do might just chip a tooth. If their mouth is open, shoot them in the mouth, shoot them in the neck, shoot them in the eye, shoot them in the leg, shoot them in the calves. Any soft tissue, pretty much anything below the waist that would hinder them from running or walking or wanting to chase you.
These things are, I mean, I just thinking about all the stuff that you've been through, your dad's been through, your granddad's been through.
Oh, my dad says he wants to give you a call sometime next week. So
yeah, give him my number.
I'm gonna get it there for you.
Just do me a favor, text me before he calls so I know that it's him, if you could.
All
right.
What I'll probably just do is just give him my phone and make it easy for you to answer.
Yeah. Or just maybe be there and be on speakerphone or whatever, and that'd be cool. Have both you guys there.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that your friend's okay. I'm glad that, it turned out to be a different circumstance than you thought it was going to be.
Oh man, I was a wreck driving down there, man.
I'm sure. With just time.
I was a wreck on the road. I didn't even know. Well, I was planning. Freaking 10 hours. I was planning my moves. Like, all right, this is what I'm gonna do. This. I went. So I'm like, I can't do that. Play it by ear. I need a strategy.
Yeah, you can't go in blind.
By ear.
Right on.
Yeah. So it's like without a strategy, it's like going to a lion den with stakes tied around your neck.
Right.
Hoping for the best outcome.
Right. Absolutely. So we're coming up on time. Do me a favor. I wanna talk to you for a bit after. Don't hang up. But one thing that we can learn from this, I like to look at encounters and experiences as learning lessons, and through this experience, you can kind of learn a lot. One, go into the woods with protection. Once again, not a stick or a knife. And try not to put yourself in a predicament where you are getting herded into a place, try to be aware of your surroundings, be very hyper vigilant of everything around you. And, if you do find yourself in that kind of predicament, go into overdrive and think of a way of getting out of that instead of going the way they want you to go. Go in a completely different direction. Go sideways,
Yeah.
So, it's always nice talking to you, brother. You're
Same here.
I was excited when I saw your email, though. I was like, oh yeah, sweet. Because I honestly, literally, a couple days ago, I was looking at pictures of the Maryland Goatman. I was actually reading the story.
Yeah, there's been a lot of unaccounted reports.
Yeah.
Like the reports get accounted, but it's not been filed. They send people over into certain areas to supposedly look at it, but it doesn't get to the proper chain of command. So people who actually takes the reportings just dismiss it.
Mm-hmm.
But there's been the reports has been a lot lately, and there's actually some of them in the areas where people are going missing too. So that's another thing that I'm going to look into. But like I said, I don't know anything about these creatures, and I do not know how to deal with it. I do want to help out though, but I think I'm way out of my league on this one. But then again, I can't leave somebody that's in need, So
Right.
And it's something that I have to do like a lot of research on. If anybody that has dealt with these things and know how to hurt them or like deter them, that'll be good information too to know. So if y'all know how to deal with anybody on your channel, know how to deal with these creatures,
I got a couple of
let
videos.
Jeff know, and he can let me know.
Yeah, let me know. But I've got a couple of videos that I've some subscribers had sent in, seeing these things, and it's a whole different ball game with them. You know what I mean? Like a whole different. It's almost like they are. I really.
What do you think will win? One of them walking wolves or one of them damn Goatman things?
I'll tell you, I think a Goatman, and I'll tell you why. And I'll probably get some flack for it. But with the Dogman or walking wolf, Bigfoot, werewolf, I really think they're flesh and blood. I don't think they have anything to do with anything other than flesh and blood. But when it comes to the Goatman, there's too much mystery, too much
demonic.
Yeah, there's just something about them that really doesn't point to being from this plane of existence, There's something very, very demonic about them, and I don't know if it's just because it's a bipedal looking goat and our image of the devil, but I think that these things are something totally different, and I think they would pretty much probably take on, probably have the best of all three. I really think a Goatman could.
I could see that happening.
Because the one you saw was huge.
Very, very formidable.
Yeah, the one you saw was huge. You
Very
said it was
formidable.
10 feet tall at least, you know? And you know, with the horns and the strength, I really think that there's something really bad, evil to them. And with that, I don't like putting biblical things towards Dogman, Bigfoot, werewolf. I don't. But when it comes to the Goatman, it's kind of hard not to, you know? They're
Yeah, I
evil.
understand that.
So, where do you
see? The funny thing is, I come to Maryland to get away from these things, but it just seems like I just can't get away from this. Like I don't know if I'm destined to like freaking have encounters with these things.
Yeah.
But now I'm seeing different. Before it was Bigfoot and these walking wolves. Now I'm seeing freaking crawlers, Goatman. What the hell? What next?
Yeah, that's why when you said your friend's moving, you know, you're like, my friend's going to move to either Maryland or PA. And I'm like, oh, PA. No, don't go to PA, brother. There's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're going from a hot skillet to the crock pot right there, brother. You don't go there. You know, so, but yeah, there's just something really, really off with the Goatman. Too much mystery. And I don't know what the heck. And I don't think with them, I don't think we'll ever know. I honestly think we're getting closer to some origins, or at least, you know, whatever with the Dogman, Bigfoot, werewolf. I think the more that these stories get out there and the more people are aware, I think that, you know, we may have some answers, not all, but some. But with the Goatman, I don't think we're going to ever have. Same with Crawler. I mean, I just don't think that they're. My opinion of the Crawler is a military genetic creation.
Yeah, that's a very strong possibility.
Yeah.
They try to make super soldiers or something like that, and they probably messed the thing up and just created some hideous things that they locked up, and then some escaped.
Yeah.
You know.
Or like you said, super soldiers, but you know, like with Dulce, the government was working with aliens there. Who's to say these things weren't super soldiers for the aliens? You know what I mean? Because think about their appearance. Their appearance is very alien-like, and
that is true.
I'm not just saying outer space alien, because you know, who knows where aliens come from? That's why they're alien. They're not from here. So, but anyway, brother, it was awesome having you on. Do me a favor, don't hang up. I'm glad that you called. I'm glad that your family is doing well, and I'm looking forward to talking to your dad. So please let him know that I'm looking forward to talking to him.
No problem with them.
All right. Is there anything you'd like to say before we end this?
Of course. I'd like to thank my Dogman family. Well wishes to everybody. Hopefully everybody had a good Thanksgiving. Like, there's some people that might not believe in these cryptids. They might think it's a hoax or whatever, and that's fine. You're entitled to your belief. But just take the information, enjoy it, let it sink in, and God forbid you're in a situation, but like, oh, I listened to this, and it seems similar to the situation I'm in. So that can help you out, whether it's real or not. Who knows? God forbid. Hopefully, you never make it into a situation where you have to rely on the information that you hear here. So stay vigilant. If you're walking, if you're doing your hikes, whatever, listening to music, when in out, make sure you have some kind of protection. If you don't carry a handgun, try to carry like a bear spray, mace, because that messes with their senses. It's not only these Dogman things that y'all call, or Bigfoot or crawlers. You also got men too, humans. So just watch your back, stay safe.
I really do enjoy talking with Luke. I miss Luke. Luke has been very busy with his new life, away from Taylor, Mississippi, and I look forward to chatting with him soon. I got his new phone number, so hopefully soon we can get together and chat again. I just absolutely really form a great friendship with Luke. And God, I do miss him. Anyway, with that, I'd like to thank you all for supporting the channel. It is your support that keeps the channel growing and going, and what gives us all a place and a chance to share our experiences and theories, judgment-free, just simply treated with the respect we all deserve. Please stay safe, happy, healthy, and ever vigilant, keeping an eye on our children, pets, family, and friends. These creatures are real. They are out there and dangerous. Share this information with those you love and care about, and it may just help save their lives sometime. Until next time, never stop asking questions, never stop searching for the truth, and God bless.